Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roland Cowan Stadium here in Carina as the Brisbane Lady Spartans host the Sunshine Coast Phoenix in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Brisbane Spartans sit at the top of the ladder with a perfect 9-0 record, while the Sunshine Coast Phoenix are looking for only their third win of the season. Both teams come into tonight looking to pick up the W. I should say this afternoon. I always forget that we're calling games on the daytime. I'm used to seeing the darkness, not the sunlight. Spartans are here. They're undefeated, like we said. They come into this game with back on the back of a win, 100-40 over the Toowoomba Mountaineers last weekend. Spartans are just absolutely rolling at the moment. Ashley Karatiana, 20 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in that win versus Toowoomba. Maddie Allen had a double-double and 19 points and 12 rebounds. And the Spartans are just absolutely rolling in this one. Sunshine Coast Phoenix, on the meanwhile, like I said, looking for their third win of the season. They lost a tough one last week to their local rivals, the University of Sunshine Coast RIP. It was a 69-60 loss for the Phoenix in that game. Chelsea Small led them with 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 turnovers. Erica Carlson had that double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks in that one. So it's going to be an interesting matchup here. The young Phoenix, can they spring the upset and hand the Spartans their first loss of the season? We're going to find out shortly. I will be joined at any moment by Dan George, but I'm John Guarna. Guys, and don't forget, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you get to our Nothing But Net Media Facebook page as well as our Live Sport Australia Facebook page and give us a like. We're going to present to you each and every week a QBL Game of the Week. Obviously, we start off with the women, and then we'll follow up with the men shortly afterwards. So stay tuned for that one. We do have the Spartans and Phoenix men's game to follow this one shortly, but this one here is going to be a good one. We had the Sunshine Coast Phoenix on our stream a few weeks back when they visited the Brisbane Capitals, and the Phoenix were able to pull that one off. It was a bit of an upset, so let's see if the Phoenix can do it here tonight. It's going to take a lot, though, as the Spartans are absolutely rolling. Like we said, undefeated, sitting in first on the ladder, and just playing out of their skin. Keys to the game for the Phoenix, they obviously have to stay out of foul trouble, but they got to do a better job on the glass. The Spartans crashed the glass pretty well in that win over Toowoomba. They had 52 rebounds, 20 of which were offensive, and they take care of the pill. They only had 8 turnovers in that game. If I'm the Phoenix, don't want to necessarily run with the Spartans in this one, but they have to make sure that they keep the Spartans off of the glass. Don't give them any second chance opportunities. Again, Spartans had 17 second chance points in that win versus Toowoomba. And Phoenix have that size advantage with Erica Carlson, with Ashley Hannon as well. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. We're going to get set for the tip here. The Sunshine Coast Phoenix are in their road whites, and the Brisbane Spartans in their home black. Purcell and Carlson going to get set to tip. Let's see who wins this one. Tip is up. It's won by Carlson. So Sunshine Coast will have an opportunity for the first points of the game. Immediately they go inside to Carlson. Carlson working on the defense, goes to her right shoulder. There's a foul. No, they're going to say, yeah, it was a foul call. Going to give that foul call. That one's going to go on Maddie Allen, her first one. So Carlson going to go to the line for a couple shots here. And immediately we see the Phoenix try and go to the score. Turnover on this end. That was Karatiana turning it over. She thought she was fouled. Now Adams has it. Gets the screen at the top of the key. Working the ball around the perimeter. That's Chelsea Small. Passes. Shot is missed. Now Purcell kicks ahead to Nat Taylor. Taylor skipping it over to Allen. Good ball movement. Karatiana for 3. That's short. Long rebound. Goes out of bounds, so it's going to be Phoenix ball. Spartans going to pick up full court here. And they're going going to drop back into man-to-man. Three-pointer is up. That's good. So 3-0 here early for the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. They get on the board first. Then another turnover. Now they're going to say it was knocked out of bounds off the Phoenix. Ashley Wallace got a hand on that one. Taylor sets the inbound. Go inside to Allen. Allen flips one up. It's off. Rebound to Hanks. She's pushing it up court for the Phoenix. Goes behind her back. Now Small looking to back in against Caratiana. Here comes the screen and roll, trying to split the defense, turns it over. Adams turns it over, and here comes Spartans. Nat Taylor steps into a jumper that's short. Carlson with the defensive rebound. Great pass, good ball movement here, but they blow the layup due to the Phoenix. Small, though, chases it down. Six on the shot clock, turnover. Caratiana comes up with it. So 2-on-1, good pass to Nat Taylor, who finishes the layup. Great transition offense there from Ashley Caratiana. Now Small under pressure. She nearly loses it, but recovers. Carlson going to take a long jumper that's off the front of the rim. Here goes Caratiana again. Kicking ahead for Allen. Allen puts it on the deck, flips it up and in. And just like that, the Spartans retake the lead. It's 4-3. Wallace skip pass over to Small. Small's jumper is up. That's off. Great offensive rebound by Hanks. She's blocked, though, by Nat Taylor. And then Taylor's fouled. Let's see who they're going to give this foul to. That one's going to go on Ash Wallace, so got one team foul apiece here with 7:15 to go in the first. Caratiana using the body. She creates the contact. She's fouled. She's going to go to line for a couple shots. That foul there is on Kelia Hanks. That's going to be her second personal. Excuse me, her first personal. Second team foul on the Phoenix. Caratiana going to step to the line on the season. She's shooting just under 90%, misses the first. Welcome Dan into the booth. Dan, thanks for getting here.
Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late.
Don't be sorry about it.
I'm incredibly good at running behind. I'm sorry, but actually was on the coast and went for his beautiful run down at the beach, and it's a 10-minute walk from my mum's house. Turned into a half-an-hour walk after I bloody tore my calf on the way back, so I'm running behind. I'm sorry, I'm limping around like a clown, but excited to be here and watch the Spartans, and the women are just having such a good season. What a great roster, so I'm glad to catch this game for sure.
Yeah, I was saying in the pregame, we caught the Phoenix a few weeks back when they pulled that upset against the Capitals. I think if the Phoenix play their game, they could scare the Spartans here. So far, a bit sloppy from both teams. Spartans seem to be getting it together while Phoenix trying to iron out a few wrinkles.
Well, I think what we've seen in the men and the women so far in the QBL this year is that, like, there are teams that are well and truly on top of the ladder, but they're not immune from upsets. And I think it just shows top to bottom the league so good now that absolutely the Phoenix can walk in here and get a win in both the men and the women today if the Spartans aren't careful. So see what happens.
Phoenix going to the bench. Clancy and Hannon checking in. Coach Fiona Hannon looking for a spark from her team. Carlson has it now. Over to Ash Hannon. Jumper is short. Purcell with the rebound. Caratiana, great pass inside. What a block, though, by Adams. But then Nat Taylor comes up with the steal. Three-pointer from Taylor is good on the opposite corner. It's now an 8-3 lead for the Spartans.
Nat Taylor's such a good player, isn't she? Can just do everything. Really good size at the guard spot. Great defender. And that showed it all there. Got a good steal, knocked down the three.
And here they are off and running. Caratiana was looking for the contact. Good defense there by Small. Caratiana's frustration leads to so She's been a bit frustrated here early already. Looking for the call. She looked to draw the contact. There was a bit of contact, but it was more initiated from Caratiana, I thought.
Yeah,
Good no call.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a great no call. I think she went up, like you said, John, hoping to get fouled rather than just going through and finishing strong. And isn't it nice to see the yellow, I think those are still our Rise Foundation yellow Spartans water bottles, 2012 Heritage Edition, I think, from our view up here. So that's great to see the Spartans still supporting what we do.
Yeah, well, I got my Still I Rise jumper on. It's just a bit too warm. Even though I forget what a Brisbane winter is like, we still get 24, 25 degrees on a good day, don't we?
Sure do.
So, I was actually talking about Still I Rise, Dan, and while you bring it up, why don't you tell us a little bit about the foundation?
So, in a very quick nutshell, just during this time out, what have I got, 10 seconds to give a summary?
You got all the time you want, Dan.
So, Still I Rise Foundation, there's a lot of charities in Australia, so why would we have started this one? Essentially, we went through a number of different charities post my cancer diagnosis and treatment in 2012, and every charity that we spoke to does an amazing job of supporting research, which is obviously vital. Don't take anything away from it at all. But the real gap that I discovered in talking to other patients that they discovered too was that there's one thing to get medicine and drugs in your arm and great doctors and awesome hospitals like we're very lucky to have. But the mental side of that sort of thing is so difficult to overcome and deal with, not only for the patient, but their family, their friends, their loved ones as well. So anyway, our foundation pays for a counsellor to go into cancer wards and meet with completely free of charge patients, their family members, their kids, their families, just to help the emotional and mental side of dealing with that sort of critical illness treatment. And it's mainly done through the Icon Cancer Care network of 22 private hospitals around Australia. And they've now brought in their own psychologist and dietitian off the back of what we've done. So every single patient now has access to these awesome services. So it's great to see. And it was born here 4 years ago at this stadium. So it's very special to come back and see the signs up and see yellow water bottles on the sideline.
And if anyone does want to get involved with the foundation, how can they do that, Dan?
So most of the information is on stillirise.com.au, or one word obviously, stillirise.com.au, or a Facebook page. We're a team of volunteers, so there's no admin cost, which means there's no admin full-time staff. So if we don't reply within 5 minutes, give us a day, we'll definitely get to you. But at least that means as Arja does what she does best and finish as well. Almost. I jinxed it.
You jinxed her.
Anyway, so there's no admin staff, which means every dollar we receive goes directly to the services that we advertise, which is counselling. The only person who gets paid is the counsellor, which is how it should be. But anyone who wants to get involved in any capacity, reach out, call me, email me, go through the Facebook page, and obviously we're very happy to chat.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough, that every single cent that gets donated goes straight into the care of the patients receiving the counseling services. So,
well, even to the degree, John, I'm sorry to take it away from the game here. There's a lot of action we're missing, but I apply for grants all the time, and I even won a grant the other day to buy an iPad. So I go, it's a technology grant. So now we have an iPad that's going to sit there with our counsellor for someone in a hospital ward to use while they're getting treated. Just small stuff, but it all adds up and it all helps.
Yeah, every little bit counts. So if you want to make a donation, visit stillirise.com.au. If you need some assistance, visit the website, get in touch with us, and we'll do whatever we can through the Still I Rise Foundation to support you and your family. So great job. And Dan, I love the foundation, you know that. And it's just doing lots of great things for a lot of people. Unfortunately, cancer is still a really, it's very prevalent. It seems to be becoming more so. So every bit that we can do to help is well deserved and well needed.
Well, the last comment I'll make before we get back to the game, I actually lost a client of mine to cancer last Thursday. I'm going to her service on Wednesday, and it's just a brutal reminder as we get, unlike I thought it was an M1, but a travel on the Phoenix. It's just a brutal reminder of how fragile life can be. But hopefully cancer is more prevalent, but the treatment and the success rates of treatment are improving, which means there's more and more survivors, which means there's more and more people dealing with the after effects of this mental, almost postnatal, listen to me talking about a completely different world. But the PTSD, the post-traumatic stress, is almost the same for someone who's gone through heart disease, stroke, cancer, whatever it might be. So anyway, it's a beautiful world we're in, but there are challenging times for all of us. So it's nice to know there's support there should you need it.
Yeah, definitely. But let's we'll get back to it. We can definitely talk about Still I Rise a little more. We'll get back to the game. At the moment, the Phoenix are just being hurt because they're not taking care of the ball, and Spartans are hurting them. You know, they're now up 13-5 under about 3 to go in the first quarter here, and there's another turnover. Parham drops it off. Layup is good by Beck Haynes. Spartans haven't been able to get it going really in the half court, but they haven't had to because Phoenix are just handing them the ball.
Well, since we've been chatting about our foundation here, John, what we've missed, I think, I'm not sure what happened here. Maybe the clock didn't quite start, but what we've missed is the Spartans gave up 3 or 4 layups that they could have finished. So this could easily be, 25-5 if they weren't if they were able to capitalise. But they've just extended the pressure, so it's not a really tough press. But they're picking up 3-quarter court, and the Phoenix backcourt is having a really hard time just getting it over halfway. Spartans with Arger and the like, and Nat Taylor and his girls are jumping in the lane and creating turnovers, and there's running downhill into layups, aren't they? So.
And just a bit more aggressive. The young Phoenix probably not completing their cuts, I think, also. Kind of making a cut, but not going and fully finishing that cut. And Spartans' aggression is just causing havoc for the young Phoenix at the moment.
Well, if you look at the Spartans team, and they've got aspirations of having a long season into the playoffs, obviously, but Nat Taylor, Olympian, Arger's played in the WNBA. Odette Isaac has been a long-term fantastic player at this level. Unlucky.
Yeah, the backdoor cut there was on. Just a bit too strong pass there from Parham.
But they've got a great team, and it's one thing, I think, for the Phoenix girls who might be a little bit younger to play in practice against themselves, and it's another thing totally on another level as they travel there. Another turnover, unfortunately. It's another thing altogether to play against these mature, experienced bodies that the Spartans have. So it's a great learning experience, and hopefully they can pick it up and get their mojo back and finish this quarter a bit stronger.
Beck Haynes has it. She's looking to get in the paint. Good step through, flips it up and in. Phoenix do a better job handling the pressure there. Let's see if they can get a good look now. They're looking to work the ball inside out as Haynes kicks the ball out of bounds. It was Carlson. Carlson's on the bench now. They're trying to get the ball inside to Ash Hannon. Ash Hannon, I believe, is going to be heading down to the AIS. So pretty good young talent there for the Phoenix to have, and this is a great competition for her to develop her skills. That's Hannon there with the turnover to Parham. Parham, just a tough pass for the youngster to make. Give and go to Haynes, though. She can't handle the pass. It goes out of bounds. Just seem to be forcing things a bit, both teams, when they get set in that half court. Spartans haven't seemed to get that comfort level yet in the half court offense.
No, they haven't, you're right. And I don't know, it might be something as simple as a 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon game. Those are hard ones to get up for. I think basketball players are used to playing in the evening, training in the evening. 1 o'clock on a Sunday is tough, so maybe they're all just a bit lackadaisical, for choice of a better word, and that leads to sloppiness from both teams.
17-5 the lead here for Spartans over Phoenix. Got about 1:30 to go in the first quarter. A lot of contact. Referees let it go. Parham winds up with it on the wing, though. Three-point shot is off. It's tipped around. Adams comes up with it. Carlson at the free throw line. She's double teamed. Good ball movement here from the Phoenix. Baseline jumper, though, just too strong.
Much better offense, though. Got themselves a good open shot. You can't be upset about that. Just couldn't knock it down.
And we're here at Roland Cowan Stadium. Great look inside. Good defense. They're going to get the foul call, though. That one's going to go on Nat Saunders. That's going to send Preston to the free throw line for a couple of shots. We're here at Roland Cowan Stadium, guys, and we're they've now made some adjustments to what used to be known as the pig pen. We're actually standing up, and we are in that tight corner here. So we try and capture as much of the floor as we can, but we're just limited in what and how we can get that for you. And give a shout out to our camera guy, Jacob Beals, on the camera for the first time here at Nothing But Net Media, doing a great job for us this afternoon, and Mark on the production panel. Parham knocks the ball out of bounds, goes off the Phoenix, so it's going to stay with the Spartans. Sorry, she was fouled, so that's the 5th team foul. That's the bonus now. So Parham's going to go to the line for a couple shots with their team up 14. Dan, I know you did the podcast with Aja. She's just a really impressive person, isn't she? All around, not just in basketball, just in life in general.
I couldn't agree more. And I think if you listen to that episode, I wasn't great friends with her. We knew each other a little bit. So that was the first time I'd really had a deep conversation with her as well. And the basketball's great. And I mean, she doesn't try and come out and get MVP numbers here. She just plays a role and is a very good QBL player. But just talking to her about all the other non-basketball stuff and how she grew up and family situation and all the things that she's been able to do and achieve. I mean, she's an incredibly impressive person. And it's just great to see her in Brisbane in this league. And I mean, the Spartans are richer for having her here for sure.
Yeah, and the basketball community, because she does a lot of work with young basketball players, not just basketball players. She's a personal trainer. She lives a really healthy lifestyle, great role model for young kids.
We were talking about someone that helped train Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook before they were drafted out of college into the NBA draft. They're doing workouts with Aja for part of it. So when you talk about having a resource like that in Brisbane, I mean, if I had a kid that wanted to get better, if I was 28 wanting to get better, or if I played for the Bullets wanting to get better, I'd call her.
Yeah, well, get in touch with Aja if you want to get better in hoops. It's the end of the first quarter. It's 23-7 the lead for the Spartans over the Phoenix. We'll take a break. We'll come back with second quarter action here on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Roland Cowan Stadium. It's the start of the second period with the Spartans up 23-7 over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Dan, pretty good action from both teams. You got to think the Spartans coaches want to see more of them in that half-court offense. They were great in transition, but not really succeeding so much in the half-court offense.
I agree. I think that's exactly what they'd be looking for. And I mean, we spoke a little bit about the Phoenix's youth and inexperience maybe, but still the Spartans holding anybody to 7 points in a quarter. Defensively, they must be wrapped. From a coaching point of view, almost a fantastic finish. But I think the Spartans know that today's not about the Phoenix, it's about them, and they want to keep getting better and keep improving.
Great ball movement. Haynes finishes, and she's fouled there by Janelle Adams, so she'll get an opportunity for the three-point play. And transition offense, though, well, I should say transition defense, really killing the Phoenix right now. They're turning the ball over, and Spartans are making them pay almost every single time.
Well, I think transition D comes from turnovers, one, like you said, Johnny, but also just rush shots, and if you don't know when your teammates are shooting, it's pretty hard to get in position to be a good defensive transition team. So if they can get shots out of their structure, out of their system, that allows them to be a much better defensive transition team as well. But while it's a bit scrappy like it is at the moment, that makes it hard to go play D when the Spartans run the ball back the other way so well.
Here's Hanks with it. She's going to pull up and miss. Rebound there to Haynes. She nearly turns it over. They do turn it over. That's goes out of bounds there off Maddie Allen. Spartans, though, doing a really good job. I thought Phoenix really right at the start, Dan, they looked okay in their half-court offense, and Spartans just doing a great job defensively, disrupting the Phoenix, not allowing them to do what they want to do. There's Carlson flipping it up. She can't get it to fall.
But the Phoenix have to be happy with that shot too. Got it in the post, nice one-on-one play. That's a good shot for them.
Rebecca Haynes drains a three. A lot of contact there. They're going to get Adams for the charge. That's going to be Adams' second personal foul. Good defense there by the Spartans. That's tough to pick that up along the sideline, to pick up a charge right at that spot.
Sure is.
But good defense there by the Spartans.
John, do we know where Carly Curry is today? Spartans captain, I believe. I can't see her in the building.
I haven't seen her, and they didn't announce her, so I haven't heard if she's out. Well, she's obviously not playing today.
Must have business elsewhere.
Phoenix get a stop. Now they got to put some points on the board. Good defense, though, by Spartans, and they're off and running again. Haynes finds a cutting McDowell White. Now Caratiana has it with 11 on the shot clock. She's going to fire a long three. That's off. Haynes, though, with the offensive rebound. Maddie Allen finishes plus the foul.
I shouldn't say we, I should say I, because I don't want to put you in with me, Johnny, but I don't talk about Maddie Allen a lot. At least I haven't in the past. When we come and look at the Spartans, we talk about Argy, we talk about Nat Taylor, obviously Purcell, Odette, these girls, but man, this lady at the foul line is really impressive every time we see her. Great rebounder, plays her role, good defender. Really big-time player if they're going to compete for a title like they want to. Does
a bit of everything, and the Spartans have really cleared out the competition. They beat Mackay as Allen with the big block on the other end, doing a bit of everything, like you said. They've beaten all of the top competition that they faced so far. Logan, they took down Logan in round one. They've beat Rockhampton. They've beat Mackay. They've beat Cairns. I don't believe they have had. I'm not sure if they've played Townsville yet, but they're undefeated at 9-0. They've got to be the favorites at this point of the season.
Well, I think to be 9-0 is one thing, but to be 9-0 having beaten those teams you've mentioned, they haven't had an easy run at all. So I agree, they've got to be the favourites. And going through undefeated is, I don't know, almost impossible, you'd think, in most leagues. So they're going to drop a game here or there, you'd think. But in terms of at the end of the season, where we expect all these teams to be, you'd project them to be right there at the end of the year. On the last day of the season, you would think so.
Logan, with that win that we had versus Mackay a couple weeks ago, that put Logan firmly in second place too. So,
yeah,
is this the year that the South wins a championship? As Caratiana gets fouled there by Ash Wallace. But what do you think, Dan? I mean, we said Spartans are definitely the favorite. It's not locked in. It's going to be a tight, and they're going to have to come across some of those teams that they've already beat again in the finals.
I excuse my ignorance, listeners, but is the women's a best-of-3 final series as well?
Yes.
So I think if you look at that, like the Spartans on any given night, who knows, anything can happen in basketball, but like to beat this team twice in 3 days is going to take a pretty big effort. But you could say that about Mackay as well. If you bring Nadine Payne back in, even Logan, I mean, Kate Gaze has not been shooting it well. If she catches fire, anything can happen in playoffs, as you know, but to win twice in 3 days, the Spartans, I would think, at this stage have to be the favourites.
Adams with a nice jumper at the other end. The thing that I like about the Spartans, they really can play any style of play. They've shown that they're dangerous in transition here. Saw them a couple weeks ago against Gladstone. Really just carved Gladstone apart in the half court. They're solid defensively at every spot, and they don't really have a lot of weaknesses.
Well, if you break down each player and then as a team, you want teams to be able to rebound the ball, they can do that. You want them to be able to defend. Do they struggle to defend? Well, they're a great defensive team, and individually they've got really good defensive players, and they've proven they can score the ball through multiple ways. So those three things, if they're the basic high-level criteria for most squads, well, they tick all the boxes, don't they? So I don't know, it's going to be a great month or so as we lead into the playoffs, but I don't know, the finals is going to be exciting to watch, but given they've beaten Macleay on the road and the other teams you mentioned, they've got to be the favourites for sure.
I like what Spartans doing here, double team in the post. Allen with another block of Carlson this time. Carlson in a bit of trouble. McDowell White comes up with the steal. Spartans doing a great job double teaming, even triple teaming Carlson when she gets in the post. And then Allen too easy to the bucket, but she can't finish. Adams long two is off. Long rebound, lost out of bounds by the Phoenix, so it's going to stay with the Spartans. Ashley Hannon going to get set to check back in. She's going to check in for Wallace. And then Preston's going to check in for Haynes for the Spartans. Good zone here from the Phoenix. Jess McDowell White's going to fire a three. It's too strong. Purcell with the offensive rebound. Putback is good. Great way to use the body there to finish strong.
Well, one of the benefits of being up here where we are is that you've got a pretty good view of this bucket. So hopefully any young player could see the use of her body, because she certainly made room for herself, didn't she?
And a great finish on the other end by Carlson. Good lead pass there from Clancy. A nice steal from Adams. Adams looking to go 1-on-2. She's going to hand it off. Nice ball movement. Good block, though, from Purcell. It was a good extra pass, but a great recovery there by Purcell. And Allen with the baseline jumper. Just a bit rushed. That's that pressure. You see the Phoenix just not wanting to catch, not wanting to dribble too much. They're hesitating because of that Spartans pressure.
Well, I think when you see your teammate get blocked once or twice, you start to think that someone's going to be there every time you shoot it. So that does lead to some rushed attempts for sure.
There's a timeout taken on the floor, so we'll take one as well. About 4:30 to go in the first half. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Roland Cowan Stadium. 35-13 the lead for the Spartans over the Phoenix. Spartans driving to the basket, laying it up and in. That's way too easy for the Spartans there. They're up by 24 points. Pass inside is tipped.
I think sometimes, John, especially when you're a younger team like the Phoenix seem to be, when you're under pressure and the game's not going too well, it's easy to fall out of habit. So just then, like most younger teams would know, just stop the ball when it's coming down the court in transition. But it's such a tough night for them dealing with this Spartans team that Purcell can just walk through the paint and lay it up uncontested. And those are the sort of things that the Phoenix wouldn't usually let happen. But the pressure of the Spartans, I think, just erodes teams' confidence over the course of the first couple of quarters here.
How about that ball movement there from the Spartans? That's going to lead to an Allen baseline jumper. They're up by 26 here, Dan. Just not enough pressure defensively either for Sunshine Coast. They're giving the the Spartans quite a bit of space. 39-13 the score here, Dan. Three-pointers off. Spartans come down with it, and here they are again running. It just seems to be a constant wave of fast break action for the Spartans.
Well, it's very, I'll look at the stats at halftime. Matty Allen is on fire from the short corner, by the way. But we'll look at the stats at halftime. I'm not sure how many offensive rebounds the Phoenix have, but each possession seems to be pretty good Spartans defense on either a turnover or a long jump shot, Spartans rebound, fast break layup. It seems to be a pretty common trend.
And Phoenix, though, defensively as well, they're giving up too much on the defensive end. They're not pressuring the ball. They're just allowing the Spartans to do whatever they want. You see them kind of sitting back here and just giving Spartans all the space in the world.
Well, I think that's a confidence thing as well. It's pretty hard when you're struggling to score so much to come back and play really hard defense. Obviously, the great teams would be able to do that, but maybe a younger team like this, nice move too from Adams coming down the lane, but I think a younger team, when you've got 15 points through a half of basketball, it's pretty hard to come back and bring all the energy that you usually would on the defensive end. Let's not forget the Spartan system as well. I think their coaching staff with, I guess, the two people in charge, Rob and Beck as well, the system that they're running just really plays to the strengths of the Spartans girls. I think it suits them perfectly, and the style of play that they're playing as a result is super impressive to watch.
Well, they always say you don't force the system on the players. You design your system around the players you have, and Spartans have certainly done that this season.
Hashtag fire Phil.
John, you like that, don't you?
John is a long-term New York Knicks fan, and that comment would be a pretty common one being mentioned in New York City at the moment, I would guess, amongst the fans. But anyway, back to Karina.
Well, it definitely works in New York, but I think it works for anybody in basketball too.
I agree.
Dan.
I agree with you.
You can't try and you don't try and put a square in a circle. Jumper off there by Purcell. Phoenix come down with it. We got about 1:45 to go here in the first half, and Phoenix are down by 24 points. Carlson now has it. She spins, loses it on the baseline, flips it back up. Spartans come down with it, and here they come again. Great skip pass. Nice catch there by Parham. She can't finish. A lot of contact inside. Let's see who the referees give that foul to.
Matty Allen has given Carlson a world of problems on both ends of the floor at the moment. Hopefully Carlson can just stay with it and keep working, and those buckets will start to fall for her. But she's playing so well, Matty Allen, defensively and offensively, like we've seen too.
That one, I think, went against Carlson. So that's the 15th foul, and that's going to send Matty Allen to the free throw line for a couple shots. 1:24 to go here in the first half. 41-17 the lead for the Spartans. Allen missed the first. But she hits the second. Another block for the Spartans. And again, they've got some numbers if they push.
If the stats keepers are recording it all properly, that must be 4 or 5 blocks for Matty Allen in the first half. She's been a force down there.
Doing a good job, and she's not blocking just the guard. She's got a couple of blocks on Carlson as well. Just doing a great job on the help side.
It sure is.
There's Carlson, flips it up and in. That's a nice move there from Erica Carlson. It's now 42-19 with about 40 seconds to go in the first half. Jumper off. Haynes nearly got the rebound, but the Phoenix recover. Then they turned it right back over. Parham now going right at the defense. She's fouled. That's going to be another one on Erica Carlson. That's going to be Carlson's second personal foul, and Parham's going to go to line for a couple shots. It's about 30 seconds to go.
I think when we had the Gladstone game here a few weeks ago, Johnny, Arju has yet to miss on the season. I think from memory, I see she's at 93%, so she must have missed one somewhere along the line in the last month since we saw her, but
she's missed two.
She's missed two, I'm sorry. She's shooting a great clip on the season, and able to knock both down here.
I just remember because I did my prep last night, and I was comparing what I had from the last time, and that was one of the things I highlighted. She hadn't missed, and I think she's 25 of 27 on the season. So Spartans have it. They'll be able to hold for the final shot of the half here. They're up by 23 points. Let's see what they can come up with here against this zone. Corner three is up. It's off the front of the rim, tipped around. Allen flips it up and in. They're going to count that one as Maddie Allen got the tip out and put it back up and in. So Spartan's going to head into halftime, Dan, up 46-21. Give us your quick thoughts, Dan, on that first half of action.
Well, 21 points is actually not bad. I think they had 7 at quarter time, the Phoenix. So they showed improvement, and hopefully in the second half they can go back now and regroup a little bit and get some direction and come out and play better in the second 20 minutes. But the Spartans are obviously a level above, and it's, I guess, a tale of teams of different goals on the season being shown today.
All right, well, we'll take a break. It is halftime. The Spartans are up by 25, 46-21 over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Here in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Roland Cowan Stadium. It's halftime, and the Brisbane Spartans are up 46-21 over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Dan, you're taking a look at the statistics. What are they telling you?
Well,
that's not too obvious.
well, 46-21, there are going to be some obvious advantages to the Spartans women, but also things that stand out for them. It's easy when you win to think things are really well. Maybe a loss is a good thing for these top teams sometimes. The women for the Spartans, 3 of 15 from downtown. They've got 9 turnovers themselves, and those two stats are not great for a team that's wanting to win a title. 9 turnovers and a half against a not great Phoenix defense is something they need to improve on for sure. But from the Phoenix's point of view, they have not scored from the foul line tonight. They've taken 31 shots at 29%, so obviously they're having a hard time putting the ball in the hole, and they've got 18 turnovers themselves. But I mean, one of the things I think if you look at the Spartans roster, and we talk about any team that's going to compete for a title in any league in the world, most of the teams need a fairly good bench. And today the Spartans women are outscoring the Phoenix 17-2 on bench points. And no matter what else you look at, if they can control the ball, control the rebound count, and get production off their bench, it helps them obviously compete for titles and at least be in contention to go and chase a premiership. So hopefully the Phoenix, who statistically aren't that far off the mark, look after the ball a bit better and maybe convert a few more of those shots, and this would not be as ugly as it is so far.
Yeah, the Phoenix also need to, obviously, you always want to take care of the ball, because if you don't have the ball, you can't score. But if you're consistently giving the opposition options, you're going to be in trouble. As they start the half with a great drive there by Kelly Hanks. She's fouled. She's going to go to the line for a couple of shots. So.
Well, I think, John, you have to take what the defense gives you. It's an old cliche that every coach or every player would say, as Maddie Allens falls straight out of the game with her 3rd foul, which is a loss for the Spartans. She's been playing great. But you take what the defense gives you. But in saying that, let's not settle for long jump shots with the Phoenix as well. So I love the fact they've come out of the half, putting pressure on the rim and got themselves to the foul line. Still can't score from the foul line, but at least they're getting opportunities.
And they fight for the rebound there. That's small. It goes out of bounds off of Purcell. So Phoenix will have another opportunity to get into it here. And I think Phoenix, when they ran their half-court offense, they looked okay. Spartans, though, just did a great job pressuring it. You see here, I'm surprised they're not going to go to the double team. They let Carlson fire and she hits. But they double teamed, sometimes even triple teamed every time Carlson, especially on the catch.
Well, I don't know the Women's League well enough to say what's going through the coaching mind over the Spartans bench, but if that's Nadine Payne in the grand final, you might have to double her because she's a fantastic player, but you don't want to leave Michaela Cox and these other girls wide open. So if you can teach yourself to play one-on-one in the post, that helps you down the line. So maybe that's what they're going to do. Stay at home on the other players and say, we're not preparing for the Phoenix, we're preparing for a bigger goal. Let's just work on ourselves. And single coverage in the post is something they'll have to be able to go to if they're going to be a serious player at the end of the season.
Yeah, Phoenix, though, starting the half quite well here. Carlson, again, recognizing that she's double-teamed, kicks it over to Adams. Her three-pointer is just off. But a couple of good things, a few good looks here for Phoenix. Get a little bit of confidence.
They look a lot better,
They
no
do.
doubt. Another thing it does, we'll see how long they can sustain this, but that gives them energy to go back and play defense too. And the offense feels okay, everyone's getting a touch. You're not turning it over, you're actually getting looks. They can go back and play defense at the other end.
And there's Phoenix again driving to the paint. Thought they were going to go for shots, but they're going to say it was on the drive, so it's going to stay with the Phoenix here. Caratiana going to get called for the foul. I thought it was good defense. She did make some contact there, though.
Well, there was good defense, just lost sight of the ball, but I mean, she was doing the right thing, but I think when the Phoenix player goes sprawling, it's hard not to make a call there.
Yeah, it definitely was contact. There's Small going against Caratiana, trying to drive baseline. Good defense. She loses the ball. Caratiana comes up with it.
Fantastic defense.
And there's some contact.
Yeah.
No call there from the referees.
Well, if they're going to call that foul on her in the last possession, she should have got the same call there.
Nat Taylor hits the three on the other end. How good is Nat Taylor? She's been doing that for a long time. She does a bit of everything and does everything well.
She's awesome. She is awesome.
Carlson hits the free throw line jump shot.
You know who else is awesome is Nat Taylor's husband. I've never met him, but man, that dude is, in terms of health and fitness, he was one impressive dude. Ex-rugby union player, but an impressive family.
Parham misses the three. Purcell tips it around, comes down with it. She's triple teamed and she gets fouled. That's just sheer determination there, isn't it, there from Purcell? Battling for the rebound and making sure that she's going to get some sort of shot. If it's not the layup, she's going to go to the line.
Sure is, and I mean, most viewers probably know that they're sisters, Nat Taylor, and I've just seen her husband walk in with their little baby too, actually. I think, and I apologise, but I'll get her name wrong, but there's another Purcell up in Gladstone as well, I believe, who we saw a few weeks ago here, so great basketball family, and I think Kaylani's just come back from BYU and had a great career over there and showing what she does here in the QBL.
Yeah, signed for the WNBL also. She's going to be up at Townsville, so I'm pretty sure she's up at Townsville. I'll have to double check that. Small's three is off.
Well, we might not double check it. I'll take your word for it because I did doubt you with the Castro from Logan on the Mexican national team because Eurobasket's got her listed under Greek and American. Boom, she's in the Mexican national team. So you're all over it, Johnny. I'll take your word for it. Kalani Purcell's going to Townsville.
There's a bit of contact there. Hank's going to get called for the foul. Still going to double check that though, Dan. I'm sure. I'm 99% sure that I'm correct on that one. No, actually, I'll give myself 90. There is a bit of doubt on that.
You are doubting yourself.
There's Caratiana. Her three is a bit off. Hanks comes up with it. How's that not a travel? She flipped it to herself. Great pass. Hanks blocked from behind, though, by Haynes, and Purcell recovers. That's a bit what Purcell can do. She grabs the rebound, runs the offense, and gets the assist. That's why she's a WNBL player right there.
No doubt. That's why Nat Taylor could be if she wanted to be. Filling the lanes, finishing well at the rim.
Taylor skips it over to Parham. Bit of zone here. Leads to a Purcell baseline jumper. That's good. I was wrong. It was a Melbourne Boomers.
No.
I was close. I definitely, obviously.
Stopped the WNBL.
Trying to drop knowledge, and I dropped incorrect information. I'm sorry, Kalani, but best of luck to you going to the Boomers. Next 2 seasons, that's amazing. Great addition to the competition. 56-29 the lead here. Spartans in control over the Phoenix with about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
I think Kaylani will be playing with another former Spartan, Olivia Thompson, who I think is at the Boomers again. Just dominating in the South Australian League. So a lot of Spartans women, as they've always done, going on to play at higher levels. What a finish, by the way.
How's that finish there?
I hope you can see that on the video. Impressive finish. But the Spartans women has got a long history of really high quality women coming through it and playing here or coming from high programs and stopping through here. But they've also done a good job developing their homegrown players as well.
It wasn't too long ago they were winning Siebel championships.
That's true, 2009 and 2013, I think. Well, let's have a look. There'll be a flag up somewhere in the stadium, I'm sure. The women, 2014 East Women Champ. I think that was the year they went through and won it as well. In fact, it was, 2014, because that was the year the men struggled. 2013, the men here were really good, and the women struggled. Couldn't quite get it going at the same time, unfortunately. But
yeah, men's team has a pretty exciting roster here as well for the QBL season so far this year. We'll have the men's action coming up as they take on the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Should be another great game as well. The men's action should be a great game. Some pretty interesting matchups on the floor. Not sure if the Spartans are going to have their full squad. I don't know if Gibson has gotten married yet, or I think this might be the last week, or maybe last week.
I don't think he's married. I think he's somewhere in Vegas at an unknown location with Patty Mills and a bunch of other superstar basketballers and friends having a good time, I'm sure. But I think that rules him out today, I think.
And not sure about Jervis either. He played one game last weekend, but he was named to that Australian camp also, so not sure if we'll see him.
Well, we saw Kickett play really well last night for Southwest Metro, and he's going to that same camp, I think. So Jervis should be here, hopefully anyway. I'd love to see him play again. He's a fantastic player at any level, but QBL especially. And his matchup with Jerome Hill would be worth watching just on its own. So hopefully he does walk in soon. Haven't seen him yet.
Great lead pass and finish there. Carlson with a nice finish, but Spartans are really pulling away here now. They're up 64-29. Just doing whatever they want to do on either end of the floor. Phoenix get the turnover. Hanks with a nice crossover. Can't finish the reverse layup, though.
I think the challenge for the Spartans is, look, the game's over. Let's be honest, they can get whatever they want, but they need to stay disciplined and keep running their system, keep their turnovers low, play good D. It's very easy to let things get scrappy when the game's scrappy like it is now.
That's Georgia Berry getting the foul called on her there. Sorry, I thought that was 8, that's 6. Nat Saunders with the foul on Aja Parnham. Ash Hannon checks in for the Phoenix. Jess McDowell-White and Emily Preston check in for the Spartans. Haynes and Nat Taylor going to take a breather for the Spartans as well. Parham's going to go to the line, the penalty. Great free throw shooter. And Dan, they always say it, but it's so true. You got to be able to hit your free throws, and especially in tight games. Again, like you said, every game for the Spartans here on out is prep for the finals. So every little bit is going to count.
Well, if you can't hit foul shots, it makes it very hard to play you in the fourth quarter of a close game, which the finals will be. So you don't want to see a good player sitting on the bench because they can't be relied on to knock down foul shots in a close game. So I agree with you, Johnny. You've got to be able to finish them.
Hannon driving baseline pass, nearly stolen by Parham. She loses it out of bounds, though.
I don't think any of the Spartans girls are stat chasing either, but I'm sure they all like to score. So you've got to be able to help yourself out and put a couple of points on the board if you get the opportunity.
What are your thoughts, though, about the bench? Great play there. Good block by Parham, though. What a recovery there. It was a really nice set run there by the Phoenix, but Parham read that one and swatted it.
Yeah, she sure did.
But what are your thoughts about the bench, though, Dan? In games like this, obviously you want to play your bench because you don't want to risk any of your starters. But how much do you think it helps you to prepare for those big moments? Is all floor time valuable, I guess is what I'm asking you.
I agree. I absolutely think it is. And if I was coaching the Spartans, you're up 37 points in the third quarter. I would let these girls finish this quarter. Arja, Odette, Kaylani, girls that you're going to rely on later in the year. But I'd just, at three-quarter time, tell them to go and ice up and wrap the knees up. And because Tom Jervis is here, good news for men's viewers coming up next. But I'd sit them out the whole fourth quarter and let the young girls play for two reasons. One is they work just as hard as anyone else during the week of practice all season long, and they deserve minutes. And if they're not going to get minutes on a day like this, when are they going to play? So I would do that. And you never know. What if on the first night of a grand final triple header, one of the main girls sprains an ankle and is out for the weekend? You need someone to step up, and if they can think back in their mind to knocking down a shot or two or getting a steal or making a really nice assist on a Sunday afternoon against the Phoenix, that gives them confidence to go out in the final and not feel completely out of depth. So I would definitely play these young girls as much as possible and look after my studs and tell them to go ice up in 3 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah, Parham hits that jumper. They're now up by 39 points. It's 68-29. Spartans over the Phoenix. Hannon flips one up, can't get it to fall. Tipped around. Surprise, surprise, Parham comes up with it. Now Preston, back out to Isaac. I like what Spartans are doing here also, though. Getting an opportunity to run offense against man and end zone also, so just really patient, looking for a good shot.
Well, the offense broke down, then they'll probably get a look out of it. Arja, I think they're waiting for her. So this Brisbane offense, when there's a lady at the high post like that, they expect a couple of cutters, and I think Odette was waiting for Arja to cut through ball side, and it broke down, but they're able to get a decent look out of it at least.
Well, there's a timeout taken on the floor, so we'll take one as well. There's 2:42 to go in the third quarter. It's a 68-29 lead for the Spartans over the Phoenix. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Roland Cowan Stadium. 2:42 to go in the third quarter. Spartans up big over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix, 68-29. We've got Emily Preston at the free throw line for a couple shots as the Phoenix are in the penalty. Dan, before that timeout, you were talking a bit about the Spartans offense. I know you spoke to Coach Scheibner when we were here last time. I believe it's they call it the flow offense. Is that right?
I think the flow is what Andre Lamanis calls his kind of, whatever it is they run with the two bigs and a little dribble handoff action at the top. The offense that Scheib is famous for in Australia, at least, is, well, he calls it Dallas. I think that's what they'll call it again here. And that's what we ran when I played for him in 2002 when we won the QBL championship with the Capitals. As the Phoenix get a good shot, but nice rebound from the Spartans. It was also what we ran at the Spartans here in 2013 when we had a really great season in the Seabull. And it helped Scott Kenny get a contract. It helped Tommy Amar average 20. It's just a really great system.
What are the keys to it?
Well, if you get transition, look, obviously you take a transition bucket, but if you're in the half court, you'll see someone go to the high post. That can be a guard, it could be a big, could be anybody. They'll go to the high post, almost at the foul line in the middle where you'd shoot a free throw from. The two wings are at the foul line, and then the two guards are up top. So the whole five players are above the foul line to start. And then you can enter it through the high post, you can enter it through a wing. You get cutters off the high post. The high post can step out and play one-on-one. They can reverse it. You run into on-balls. There are countless options and lots of different reads out of it. Very, very hard to defend, hard to scout for. But everyone gets a touch. Everyone plays to their strength. You can get post-ups out of it. You can get three-pointers out of it. I love that offense. And if I coached one day, which I may, I would run a combination of my college system with the beautiful man, Coach Tony Morocco, and I would run a mixture of that with Scheib's offense, the Dallas system, because it's such a good one for players to play in.
The Spartans are doing it and doing it well here. They're up by 42 now, 74-31. Clancy has it. She's fouled. That one's going to go on Cassandra Donnelly. It's going to send Clancy to the free throw line for a couple. You have coached before, though, haven't you, Dan? I know you helped out with the SBL program here for a little bit as well, didn't you?
I've coached a little bit. I coached at some schools a few years ago, which was really great. I enjoyed that a lot, just working with some under-15s, under-16 type kids. That was good, but it was more individual work. It wasn't really team offense at all. But that was cool. And then I also helped with the SBL program in 2015 when the Spartans went undefeated. And Coach Heselhurst, who's coaching who's coaching the men for the Phoenix today, was the head coach. And he asked me to help out. And when you talk about a good team, we had Darryl McDowell-White that year, who looked like Russell Westbrook in that league. When you're talking earlier, John, about putting a system in place that suits the players, I actually went and watched a bunch of tape, and we stole the University of Connecticut's offense for that year. And we called it UConn, and the Phoenix will run a bit of it today, I would think. It just suited Darryl so well. And the point guard play, when you look at Kemba Walkers and these guys who come out of UConn, we just put their system in place, and Darryl looked like a superstar. Had a 50-point game, a league MVP, undefeated premiership. So that was great. But
well, we're going to get to see Darryl McDowell-White and his brother Will. They both suited up for the first time for the Spartans last weekend, and they made a huge impact at the QBL level, not only at the SBL level. So they're a couple impact players pretty much at whatever level they play at.
No doubt. And I know Will's, everyone talks about him and what he hasn't done in terms of college, but I mean, that dude, you saw Jonah Bolden get drafted in the second round this week from Australia. In a year or two, who knows, Will could very easily be another Aussie getting drafted. He is that talented and that good. And I don't really care what happened in the States. He's back now and he's a super player. And so we're great to see him play live. And Darryl's had a year at Fresno State, which for those of you who don't know is where Paul George went. So a great school. And he's come back after his freshman year, and he'll be playing today as well. So,
and another McDowell-White just hit the three-pointer. That's Jess McDowell-White, who's also a fantastic player. That gave the Spartans a 77-34 lead, and that's the score at the quarter-time break. So we'll take a break on the action here. We'll come back with the final quarter with the Spartans up big over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.
Yeah, mate. What's your...
All right, we're back here, Roland Cowan Stadium. It's a big lead for the Brisbane Spartans over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. 77-34 the lead, Dan. Can't say it enough, but Spartans, I know, Phoenix have struggled a bit, but Spartans have been really impressive this afternoon.
Well, it's very easy to look at what the Phoenix aren't doing, but we really should be looking at what the Spartans are doing, because they have been really, really impressive and played really well. So I've enjoyed watching them, and we do see some of the younger players come out, but we also see some of the veterans. So obviously that's why I'm up here and not coaching, because they're running back the squad that finished that quarter, I think. But
it looks like they got Jess McDowell-White, Nat Taylor's out there. We've got Odette Isaac, Rebecca Haynes, and Maddie Allen.
You know what? I'm not upset at all, because that gives us another chance to see more of Nat Taylor, more of Maddie Allen, and they're so good to watch play. So see what they can come up with here. Rebecca Haynes has been great all afternoon. Couldn't quite get it to go there.
Yeah, a bit of zone there from the Phoenix. They get a stop to start the fourth quarter. Carlson passes tipped. Adams nearly loses it. Isaac comes up with it for Spartans. And then Carlson steals it on the other end. Here comes Chelsea Small. Small gonna stop and pop. That's good. Nice bucket there from Chelsea Small.
Great confident pull-up too, wasn't it?
Yeah, she's been quite quiet this afternoon. That's only her fifth point. Excuse me. Looking at it, 6 points for Small.
The Spartans in that third quarter, John, put on a 31-13 quarter. Just completely outclassing the Phoenix. So hopefully these young girls from the Sunny Coast can stay engaged here and finish the game strongly.
And one thing that's been really impressive from the Spartans, in my eyes, Dan, has been the rebound. And they're really crashing the offensive glass. They don't technically, when you look at it from a size perspective, they're not extremely big, but they have a lot of people with good size.
Well, they have good size, not great, you're right, which is probably why Carlson can get to the rim like that, even though she can't quite make it. But they've got a lot of athletic players. And it's modern basketball at its best. You've got Nat Taylor, who's a great athlete, Maddie Allen, really good athlete. So they're not big, lumbering 7-footers, to use an analogy to a men's game. Like, they're athletic, big, guard multiple positions. And that means athletically they can go and get boards.
And Coach Hannon for the Sunshine Coast Phoenix just picked up a technical foul. She wanted the call on Erica Carlson down at this end. So Nat Taylor goes to the free throw line and hits the free throw. If I'm Coach Hannon, I can understand the frustration, but maybe pick that up a little bit earlier when your team's not down 42.
Well, I would certainly agree with that. But maybe she's just letting Erica Carlson know that she's going to stand up for her.
Sure.
Or maybe she was just frustrated and got a bad tech. I'm not sure which one. I think she was standing up for Erica Carlson.
Yeah, I agree that. Sometimes you got to do that. Step up for your team.
I mean, the frustration for some of these girls. I mean, the plus minus, which is a funny stat.
Nat Taylor drains a corner three.
I've spoken on our broadcast before about some of the girls in this league and who we love to watch play, and there's a few of them. Nat Taylor is just moving up the ladder quick. She is so impressive. What a great looking shot she's got.
The whole Spartans team, though, I mean, you almost have to pick your poison with them. Can't give them enough reps. I've been really impressive. Maddie Allen's been great this afternoon. She finishes with a bucket and the foul. You just look up and down the roster. They're just a really strong group. They haven't brought. There hasn't been one player that they've put out on the floor this afternoon that you would look at and say, "I'm going to attack you. You're the weak link.
Yeah.
We're going at you."
Yeah, I agree with you. There are none. I mean, you look at like a Jess McDowell-White out of this group's probably, if you're going to go to anyone, you go at her just simply because she's young. But you try going at her and it doesn't work. Like, she's a fantastic junior and a very, very good player. So
there's a turnover again from the Phoenix. 7:43 to go in the game. Spartans are gonna go to their bench. Checking in is Jamison McMullen. No Dead Isaac gonna get a breather. Is Jess McDowell-White wearing Victoria's socks?
she is.
I know she's represented Queensland. I don't know about those Victoria socks though. What's up with that, Dan?
I think she would have gone to nationals, played really well against the Vicks, and someone from Victoria said, "Hey, can we swap socks, please? You're such a good player." She's gone, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you out." Let's go with that.
Yeah, well, Jess McDowell-White was a part of, I think it was the under-16 Queensland side that won nationals a few years back. And she's played for Queensland for a long time. Baseline jumper from Wallace, tips around, it's off. Great rebound there by Allen. And she's going to take the bust-out dribble. That's just a great job. Great rebound, and there she is up the court, finishing through the contact with the foul. That's what you want to see from your big players, getting the defensive rebounds, rushing down the court. She just put herself in a great position there.
I think she got a cork. Is that a Charlie horse in America? Is that what we call it? Charlie horse, cork? You call it cork?
The only time I've ever heard of cork, it was here in Australia.
Well,
the only cork I know is from a bottle of wine.
Well, that's not what she just got just then. But let's call it a Charlie horse, a cork for our local viewers. And I don't know, that's what you don't want to see. An injury with 5 or 6 minutes left. But, I mean, that's a classic case of she could have dribbled the length of the floor then, but you kick it ahead and then you run the lane. I mean, it's so common for someone not to do that in junior ball and even on a Brisbane A-grade level competition. Even a QBL, people want to over-dribble it. Kick it ahead, run the lane, you get it back and you lay it up. Just textbook basketball.
I think a lot of times, though, the concern is that you won't get it back.
Well, that is what happens.
And that happens quite often also when you kick it ahead. It's not always that you get it back.
Well, you got to make the right basketball play, and kicking it ahead is absolutely the right thing to do.
It just puts more pressure on the defense, doesn't it, that early kick?
And it means you're more likely to get open when you do get it back, if you do.
Purcell going to check in for Nat Taylor. And Phoenix going to go to the bench also. Hannon checking in, as is Murphy. And Small and Wallace going to take a breather. If you're Spartans, do you change things up defensively here as well? Maybe work on a bit of half-court pressure. There's another turnover from the Phoenix, but we talked about working on things offensively. I would assume you want to do the same thing defensively. Maybe a bit of pressure, half-court, trap.
I would be respectful of this young Phoenix team, and I would not be putting on a lot of up-the-floor pressure or trapping. They're having a hard enough time looking after the ball as it is, and 36 points, 85, down 50 almost. I would not be doing that just out of respect for the game. But I would still be junking it up between zone, man, mixing it up, definitely, and challenging the girls to do different things.
Parham's going to get called for the foul there. She didn't like the call. Referee said, all right, no more. Game's pretty much over here, 85-36. Good drive. There was a bit of contact there. McMullen going to get called, do you think, for the foul? Hanks has had her moments here. She's looked pretty good for the Phoenix in spurts as well. And like I said, in spurts, they've looked quite nice in the half court, running things through the post.
Well, they've played hard the whole game, which doesn't always happen when you're down by so much. And they have had moments, John, especially out of halftime. They came out and run some structured ball for 4 or 5 minutes, but it's through no fault of their own. Just the class of these Spartans girls has shone through.
Allen jumper is good. She's got it all going on tonight, Maddie Allen. The jumper,
sure
but
does.
you know, again, Phoenix. It's still it's a young group, and they're not only are they inexperienced, but it's a fairly new group as well. So it always takes a bit of time to gel, and that's one of the issues that the men's team on the Phoenix have run into. It's that playing together. It's all good to bring in all the talent in the world, but if you can't get together and get on the same page, it's always going to be a challenge to win. Phoenix have played well. That game we saw them against the Capitals was really impressive. I thought they did a lot of good things defensively and offensively. And the men as well have started to play some better team ball now that they've got the full squad together and together for a good amount of time as well. Purcell going to fire a long two. That's good. 91-36 the score here. We got about just under 5 minutes to go in the game. Carlson has it. She turns around and shoots an air ball. And then picks up the foul. That's just a bit of frustration. And she's going to have a chat with the referees. She's obviously very frustrated. Looks like Carlson's going to check out. Nat Saunders checked in. Going to give her a breather. I think that's probably the last we'll see of Erica Carlson for the afternoon.
I can guarantee it is. So it's not a great look, is it, when you exit the game down 50, barking at a ref and then walk off slowly. I know it's a very frustrating afternoon for her, but not a great look.
Caratiana going to fire the three. That's off. Allen fighting for the rebound. They're going to call it jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the Phoenix. So Sunshine Coast will have possession now. A lot of perimeter action for the Phoenix. Leads to a Hanks three-pointer. Shooting it with confidence there, Kalia Hanks. And Murphy going to get called for the blocking foul on McMullen. So that's the 15th foul on the Phoenix. Going to send Jamison McMullen to the free throw line. She's played sporadically so far this season. These are going to be her first free throw attempts, though, in the QBL this year.
These are difficult foul shots to make too, you know. When you're a young player that's been sitting on the bench all afternoon and you come out cold, there's a pretty good crowd here. These are tough foul shots to step up and knock down.
Carson's still chatting to the referees from the bench. Referee Corey Guy just having a bit of a giggle with him, letting it go. I like it. Pass stolen by Purcell. Purcell going right at the defense. A lot of contact there. That one's going to go on Clancy. Going to send Kalani Purcell to the free throw line. Aja Parham going to check out. The first time this afternoon we're going to see Ayla Ekdahl. So Purcell hits a free throw. 93-39 the lead, 3:44 to go. Hannon going at the defense. Bit too far for the finger roll. Good hands there by Hanks, knocking the ball out of bounds. Spartans will maintain possession. Cartiana's going to fire the three. That's off. She hasn't been able to find that jump shot this afternoon, has she?
Well, if you look at the box score, some weeks she's 8 of 11 from downtown and has 35, but she just hasn't had the touch today, Johnny. You're right.
Yeah, Clancy drains a three. Shooting it with confidence here. Just a bit too late, though, Dan. Purcell can't hit.
Great pass, almost. And the Phoenix pushing the ball, had a good idea, and if you're going to turn it over like they have a lot today, the turnovers that get thrown out of bounds, those are hard, but that sort of turnover, they're being aggressive to the end. I mean, you can live with those if you're Coach Hannon, I would think.
Caratiana going to try another three. That one's off. Good box out. They're going to say it went out of bounds off of Purcell. Caratiana going to check out. Preston going to check back in. You got to think that's the last we'll see of Caratiana as well. Next weekend, Spartans are going to take on, they're going to be home on Friday to take on University of Sunshine Coast RIP.
Good game that one will be, men and women. Men especially.
And then the Phoenix go back home to take on the Toowoomba Mountaineers. That's going to be a Sunday afternoon game, it looks like. It's 12 p.m. tip for the women, followed by the men. So good opportunity for the Phoenix next weekend to pick up a win. Toowoomba also struggling this season. While we mentioned the USC RIP, I got to give a shout out to their head coach, Michael Van Dongen. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday, V-Dog. Probably his 21st, hey, 21st, 22nd? What do you reckon, Dan? V-Dog's got to be around that, right?
have we had him on a video interview before, or is it purely audio?
Bit of both.
Well, in that case, if it's been a bit of both, we can't claim 21. But, I mean,
Close.
well, V-Dog has been a committed basketball stalwart, both coaching and in administration in Southeast Queensland for as long as I can remember playing, which is 20 years almost. I mean, that dude has been plugging away and working hard for a long time. So happiest of birthdays to him, and hopefully they can finish the season strong up there in the sunny coast.
McMullen going to step into the jump shot. A little too strong. Phoenix come down with it. You got to like that. That's going to be a tough matchup for Rip next Friday night here against Spartans, the women's competition. V-Dog's got his girls playing a lot better this year. They've dropped a couple of close ones. Few things go their way. Their record could be flip-flopped, but they're going to, Spartans are going to be a tough matchup for everybody.
Well, the Spartans at home especially are going to be very tough to beat, but that means V-Dog's girls can come in here and have no pressure and just ball. But I know he said that this year their imports are great people, and the culture within the organisation just feels a lot tighter than what it might have in years gone past. So that's always a positive. And if that's the case, everyone gets along well. You'd expect them to come out here and play really hard. But again, the Spartans girls, title favourites, you would suggest. So the Rip have the work cut out for them, but I'm sure V-Dog will have them as ready as those girls possibly could be.
Taking a look at some of the statistics for Spartans, they shot 42%, or they're shooting 42% from the field, 50% from two, only 27% from three, 8 of 29. I know you said the system leads to a lot of threes, but that's quite a few attempts and not a great percentage. And then you look at the free throw shooting also. They struggled from the free throw line, 17 of 27. So if you're going to nitpick, those are a couple of areas that they definitely want to improve upon. And turnovers, they come in averaging about 7 or 8 turnovers. They got 15 tonight.
I was going to say, and this is not a very good defensive team that the Sunny Coast have rolled out today. So 15 turnovers is double what it should have been.
A lot of contact. Referees let that one go. Three-point attempt is up and good. That's a great shot there from Nat Saunders. But individually, Beck Haynes had 19 points, 6 rebounds. Purcell with 13 points and 18 rebounds, also 5 assists for Purcell. Parham had 10 points, 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Maddie Allen, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks. Nat Taylor finished with 14, so well-balanced attack for the Spartans, and that's just the way it's been all year. You never know who's going to lead them in scoring on any given night, but just really well-balanced attack for Brisbane this afternoon.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then we look at the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Their percentages, 28% from the field, 28% from 2, 27% from 3. They only got to the free throw line 6 times, but they only hit 1 of those, so definitely an area to look at. Nearly 30 turnovers as well, so they got to take care of the pill. Their leading scorer was Erica Carlson. She had 10 points and 7 rebounds. And then the next leading scorer was Janelle Adams with 9. Chelsea Small finished with 6. And then Caitlin Clancy also with 6. So rough afternoon here for the Sunshine Coast Phoenix women. And a great afternoon if you're a Spartans fan. So just under 30 seconds to go here in the game. Phoenix playing it out. Nat Sanders hit her second three-pointer. Dan, I'll get your final thoughts now. We'll wrap things up and just remind you that we do have the men's coming up next. Men Phoenix versus the Spartans. That should be a great game. But final thoughts on this one for us, Dan. That we haven't, I know we've been talking a lot about it, but overall, few things that the Phoenix can take, some positives they could take out of this one.
The Spartans are the team to beat, I think, is the main takeaway. I mean, up and down the roster, super impressive talent, but playing a great system and play well together. But the Phoenix, they played well in patches, but obviously a lot of work for them to do.
Yeah, so that's going to be it for us here. It's a final score of 97-48. The Spartans are going to take down the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I do have to thank Mark Beals on the production panel, Jacob Beals on the camera, my broadcast partner, Dan George. I also want to thank James Bowman from the Australian Sports Network for providing us with all of the fantastic graphics you've seen throughout the entire broadcast, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in, and don't forget to check out the men's game next. We'll be back shortly with that for you here. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and don't forget to tune in again shortly here on Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.